Right, so this APS-C 35mm cine lens absolutely rocks on a full frame camera. So this little guy here is the 7 Artisans 35mm Vision Cine Prime, and it is fantastic. I originally bought this as a set of 3, a 25, the 35, and a 50 for my FX3 because I wanted a set of decent Cine Primes that would be easily interchangeable. The set, although they are differing size lenses, has the aperture and the focus ring in exactly the same place, so if you had a focus motor there, you can swap these lenses out on a shoot and no problem. Also, T1.05 aperture is just amazing. I shoot a lot of low light, and if you just love bokeh as well, you can get a really cool bokeh from these lenses. Now, also, the main thing about APS-C lenses is the price. I picked up the set, I can't remember how much it was in dollars, but it was 6,000 RMB, which is probably around the price you would get one budget full frame lens for, or maybe a third of the price of an average like high-end full frame lens. So the price for APS-C lenses is right. So now imagine my surprise when I realized that this one, the 35mm, works on full frame with minimal caveats. Unfortunately, the other two definitely don't, but the 35mm works on full frame, and when you put it on full frame, it is magic. So anyway, like I said, there are some caveats to this, and we'll get them out of the way first so we can just get on to all the good stuff about the lens. Number one, like I said, this only works on full frame for the 35mm, the 50 and a 25. If you put them on, you get like the huge circle around there with the black outside. Looks ridiculous. Could be what you're going for on a very niche music video type effect, but generally for most people, don't think they're going to want that. So the 35 still does have a vignette, but it's very slight, just like in the outer reaches of the corners, and it's very subtle. So for me, I love using vintage lenses, and it's kind of got that similar kind of vibe. I don't mind it. I really like it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If a vignette is a bother for you, probably not the lens for you. The other thing is focus patching, I guess you would call it. It has some very strange things going on in the background, whereas if you're all in the center, everything will be out of focus that is behind where you are. But you may have some issues towards the edges of the frames where it might be at the same distance as it's completely out of focus and completely blurry at the background in the center, but maybe at some point right on the edge, it might suddenly be back in focus, which is odd, but for me, I call it a feature, not a bug. All right, so with those caveats out of the way, why would you want to buy this lens? As I've already mentioned, number one will be the price. $350 for a Cine Prime that is super well built and just really cool and interesting, I think is fantastic. And if you wanted to go even cheaper, $180 for a lens, can't argue with that at all. Now, number two is because the bokeh on this lens is crazy cool. If you have it wide open, the bokeh is nuts. You get some really cool, like glowy, like fuzzy, swirly kind of bokeh. As well as that, number three, great build. This thing is full metal construction, and yes, a little bit heavy, but I like my Cine Primes to be a little bit heavy, so when you're doing some handheld stuff, it just gives you a little bit more weight, and you don't get those kind of micro jitters, which everybody hates. Also, declicked aperture and a decent enough like focus throw that just feels nice. The feedback when you're focusing this thing feels very nice, and it feels very natural and very smooth and easy to use. So for example, the other day I went to a skate park with my sons, and while they were skateboarding, I thought, you know what, let's not make things easy for myself. Let's try doing some photography on the FX3 with this lens at T1.05 in like crazy changing light conditions with fast moving subjects. And actually, once you get used to the manual focus on this, because the focus throw is nice and long and it's very smooth, the feedback, you don't just kind of zip forward one way and you don't just have it's not too stiff, it just seems just about right. And with the declicked aperture as well, just makes using this lens absolutely superb. So another thing is the minimum focus with this lens, 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters. It kind of gives a really just unique look. It is very cool to use and you get some very interesting bokeh in the background when you shoot something that close up. And as I mentioned earlier, obviously with a T-stop of T1.05, this lens is super good in low light. So one more thing that makes this lens really stand out for me is if you look here, you can just see on the side here, there is filter threads, something not very common on cine primes or cinema lenses in general. Usually you would have a matte box which you put on the front of here. Not with this one, you could just screw on your VND straight on the front, which just makes it super easy and super convenient. So long story short, TLDR, if you like the vintage aesthetic looks of vintage lenses, you like cine primes, you're looking for a cine prime which has interesting characteristics, good build and like very good in low light, potentially like me if you are using full frame and APS-C cameras, one that can go on both, then look no further than this lens. Basically, it is an absolute steal for the price and I think it is highly worth checking out. Anyway guys, if you like these kind of gear reviews, filmmaking tips, you know where to find me. A couple of buttons down there, like and subscribe, give them a whirl. We are at current time of making this video 4 subscribers away from the magic 1K milestone. So like this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please just hit that subscribe button. And until next time guys, peace.